Welcome to the Estate Professionals Mastermind Podcast, a podcast for estate professionals who earn more, work less, and make a huge difference in their communities. If you get value out of this free content, be sure to check out ProbateMastery.com, where you can get live classes, access to weekly coaching, and valuable courses. To learn more, visit ProbateMastery.com. Now let's jump into this week's content. Thank you guys so much for joining. If you don't know, this is the Estate Professionals Mastermind. Turns into a podcast. If anyone wants to listen to this after the fact, you can find it on our YouTube channel at Probate Mastery. If you want to listen in the car after the fact and you don't have YouTube, you can go to your favorite podcast platform and look up the Estate Professionals Mastermind. That's what this is. We've got all of our past recordings from every other week that we've done this. We do it every single Tuesday. I know most of you guys have been here many times before. If you are new, welcome. We do this every Tuesday with the exception of next Tuesday. So we're actually going to be off for at least a week. I'm checking my calendar to see if the following Tuesday falls on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve. It does, New Year's Eve. So we're going to be off for the next 2 weeks. And then we're going to start this back up on the second Tuesday of the first Tuesday of the new year, which is the 7th at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. And we'll run almost every Tuesday in the upcoming year. So for those that are new here, this is your chance to ask estate-based and probate-based questions here to help you build your estate and probate niche into your real estate practice. Almost everyone here is doing that or has done that. Anyone that's looking for advanced education and maybe a certification, go to ProbateMastery.com and check out our Probate Mastery certification course. Speaking of which, if you guys are already in Probate Mastery, be on the lookout early next year. So in the next week or so, we're going to be announcing an entire new class series for everyone who's already a Probate Mastery student or alumni. We're going to be redoing the entire Probate Mastery course, and I'm going to do it live in front of an audience. So those of you that have been through my version of Probate Mastery know that I taught it over 5 long sessions. And if you go in and take those sessions on demand, it's kind of like, hey, today, this 3 hours, we're talking about creating your USP and your brand, and there's a lot of different topics. So over the next several months, starting in early January, we're going to be taking individual niched down topics and reteaching it. Right now, Mastery is about 15, 16 hours long. At the end of the day, the new Mastery program is going to be way, way, way more than 20 hours. I don't know how many more than 20 hours, but we're adding a ton of content in, and you guys are going to be invited to those live sessions. So from on any given week, we'll do one or sometimes more than one session that'll be recorded. You'll get invited. You'll know exactly what the topic is going to be. I'm going to teach a piece of Mastery at least once a week over the next several months. And that piece could be a 20-minute talk on a specific strategy or process, and it might be an hour and a half. It just depends on how detailed that particular strategy needs to be. So we're going to cover everything from business planning to prospecting to creating unique selling propositions and brand strategies to the probate process to marketing, both creating cold mail, postcards, warm mail, packages, things like that, videos. There's going to be a ton that goes into this new version of Mastery. And anybody that has Mastery currently is going to get it completely free. When it's all said and done, we'll have a new version of Mastery out, and the price will change. So anyone who has not signed up for Mastery, do so now before the price changes. If you do so now, you'll get the new version, complimentary or included. All right. So, with that said, let me go ahead and open up the call, let you guys know that we're here to answer any estate related questions that you have. All you have to do is go down to the bottom of your screen, and there's a reactions button that's a little heart shape. Click that, click raise your hand, and ask your estate and probate questions. I'm going to go ahead and start with Chris, and then we'll go to Tasha after that. Chris, what's on your mind?
Hello, can you hear me?
Got you loud and clear.
Okay, perfect. So I was wondering when you are talking to someone at a listing appointment, what are the three different tiers of service that you offer and what goes into each one of those tiers?
So are we looking at the three tiers of the three listing tiers or the three?
Yes.
Yep, three listing tiers. So tier number one is what I'm really trying to get them off of. All right. I don't really want them going with tier number one, and it depends on which menu I'm operating off of. So I'm just going to read my menu here. This is my listing book that I used to take on appointments, and I love this listing book. I would absolutely still take it on appointments if I didn't have something that I like better, a little bit better right now. So the first one is my it gets a mounted sign, so white post in the ground. It's just fancy word for good signage. Multiple listing service, professional photography, 15 professional photos. Every now and then you've got a house that doesn't deserve 15 photos, but it's only 15. So, and those aren't enhanced or additional editing by my photographer. And then national exposure on our national website. Now, we all know that if we put a listing into the MLS, that it gets syndicated nationwide on depending on the MLS and what your syndication rules are, at least 150 plus websites. I leave that off of this checklist. Okay. Essentially, when I put the checklist out there and I put that low level of service, there's just four check marks down. And then at the bottom of it, it says, this is a 2% listing fee to me, or 1.5, or something like that. Okay. What I really want is to get them to land on the middle or the higher end of the higher level of service. So the middle is almost everything that I would do on a traditional listing. So it's all the syndicated websites, it's social media advertising, single property page, signs, 30 plus enhanced edited photos, um, staging consultation. So not staging, but staging consultation. Um, it's just anything I can really think that I would do for a listing, I put it in there. Uh, and that's the one that I want people to land on. The third, for me, the third comes with a guaranteed sale of their house. So I give them everything. I might even give them a little bit extra. I might even pay for 2 days in a hotel. And I'm not doing this on this menu that I have, but I'm throwing a lot of extra stuff in there. Pay for a couple of days at a hotel so that you're not having to pack up and be homeless for a night, having to having to leave all your stuff in a moving truck. It just kind of makes it easy. Concierge services to transfer your utilities. I might cover the cost of staging or a certain amount of staging. Maybe I'll give them a home warranty or a free home inspection, things like that. So the bottom line is we know that a certain percentage based on this book, which is an exceptional book, 80/20 Sales and Marketing, I highly encourage it for everyone. We know that a percentage of people want the best no matter what. They want the best. And you need a product that is the best. Okay. It's not 20% that want the best and are willing to pay it, but it's probably 20% of 20%. So it's probably like between 1 and 4% of people only want the best. And if you have a high priced product, they are going to take it. Very first person I ever presented a menu off of. And you guys, please forgive me. I'm going to quote exactly what he said. Guy comes in, sits down in my office. I showed him this menu of services. I had a business partner back then that really pushed putting a high priced product out. I was not comfortable. Let me tell you what our product price was. We did all these different things for the listing, and we had a guaranteed sale of the house. Back then, we were guaranteeing 90% of what we thought market value was. Now I guarantee much higher, like I guarantee 95, 96% of what I think market value is. It's close to actual market value. That's their safety net. Back then, I'd guarantee 90%, and they paid us $1,500 up front and 10% listing fee. And I was embarrassed to present it. I was like, no one is ever going to pay a 10% listing fee, and they're definitely not going to write a check for $1,500. And my business partner was like, come on, just put it on there. We can justify the price, which we could. We could legitimately justify the price, but it was expensive. First person went through the listing menu. Here are the three different options you have. And I went, so option one is kind of low price, and I presented option two. This is where most people land. And then I said, and then, option three, no one really takes this. He said, no, I want to hear it. And I kind of sheepishly explained what option three was. And I was like, and it's $1,500 up front, and uh, it's 10, 10%. And I said it just like that. And he looked at his wife and he said, go get the checkbook, honey. I told you this son of a bitch was going to be expensive. And I was floored that they would do that. But I've found over the years, some people want the best. So I believe that you guys need to come up with anything that you can possibly do that profitably provides the best, even if it's expensive. And it may only be one or but somewhere between 1% and 5% of your audience that you present to, but 1% to 5% are going to want that service. They're going to want that. Okay. So you go to brainstorm it. Now, for me, when I do a guaranteed sale, if I'm guaranteeing a particular price, automatically it always increases the commission that I charge by at least 1% if I'm guaranteeing a particular price. And the way that I run a guarantee is if I haven't hit that price within a certain amount of time, then I begin to take the loss, the lower amount out of my commission with a limit. I won't lose money on a listing, but I'm certainly willing to not make money on a listing if I've missed it that bad. And I don't miss it very often, but I've missed it a few times. I mean, I've not made much money or any money on certain listings before, but I've had a lot of people take the higher guaranteed sale where I've made an extra percent or percent and a half by hitting my guarantee terms. So I'm a big believer in offering guarantees if your brokerage allows it. Now, I know those of you that are investors on here, uh, just kind of bear with this. That's agent talk. But I believe that even as investors, you can offer options like that as well.
Is your concierge service with your traditional listing too, or do you tier that?
I would tier that. So I don't, that was just more of a brainstorm. I
Okay.
don't have a particular concierge service. My wife, she has a menu for her appointments where she will add for $999. It's just a checkbox. She says, if you want me to handle your moving coordination and locksmith changes and coordinating inspections and utility transfers, you pay $999 extra. I've never done a concierge service because you don't want me personally handling that for you. It's not my
Okay.
strong suit, so I never personally offered it.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Hope that helps. All right. And I know Patty wants a little bit more detail on that. Let me go to Tasha first, real quick, though. Go for it, Tasha.
Yeah. So, Bruce, in your example that you just gave, now you said a 10% commission that
hmm
you offered at that time.
hmm
And was that the split with the other buyer's agent, correct?
Yeah, so it was 10%, seller paid 10%. Obviously, this was long before the lawsuit and the settlement.
Right, right, right.
So seller would pay 10%. I think at the time we were giving 3% to a buyer's agent. So it was 7 to us plus $1,500 and then 3% to the buyer's agent.
Okay. And that other would cover, like say if you paid for hotels and things like that for the
Yeah,
client.
absolutely.
And it's
Now
non-refundable.
we made good money on a program like that as well. It wasn't like the extra cost was only covering cost. But that extra cost we were paying for a home inspection. We were sending our contractor to do up to a certain amount of repairs. We were paying and covering their cost for home warranty, paying for a stager, paying for an appraisal. We were paying for some extra stuff. And it was when a seller looked at it, the idea was they're going to go, wow, I want this. But obviously we can't do it for our normal regular listing commission. So we're gonna increase the listing commission. And I think we ended up getting about a 50% margin on the extra cost was our average when someone would take that. But not everybody took it. Now that was old. When I came to the Raleigh market, my highest level was 8%, and it came with a guaranteed sale. And people would say, I want all those services, but I don't want to pay 8%. And I'd say, I'll give you everything for, let's say, 6.5, but I won't do a guaranteed sale. I'll give you everything else. I just drop the guarantee. So, you guys, hopefully, this is just kind of an idea generator for you. If you're an agent and presenting off of a menu or options, an idea generator. I've got tons of different versions of this. Right now, though, what I just showed you guys in my book is not something that I'm actively using. I'm using a different model.
So another question that I do have, if you have like, and there's certain newspapers here in Tennessee that will give you like the personal representative of the family who's passed and also the lawyer, would it be wise to contact the lawyer and not the personal representative to say, to pitch who you are and things like that, to handle any real estate that they may have, of course, when there's a death?
I think it's the personal representative is going to be your first call.
Oh, really?
Lawyer, I want you reaching out to lawyers. They don't necessarily respond extremely favorably. I'm not saying they can be rude, just like a PR can be rude sometimes. They're not likely to respond favorably if you call about a specific file that they're working.
Mm-hmm.
So when I call the lawyer, I don't say, "Hey, this is regarding the Jones estate." I call the lawyer saying, "Hey, I'm looking for a really good attorney in the area that does estate and estate administration. An agent in the area, and I'm running into certain clients of mine that need either estate creation or administration from time to time. Are you currently open to referrals if I might be able to bring you business?" So I'm leading totally separate from, "Hey, I know this is your client. Do they have a house to sell?" And I've tried I know you have a client. Do they have a house to sell? It's generally you can get lucky. I've gotten lucky doing that before. It can be successful, but more often than not, they're going to be like, "Hey, what's it to you? That's private. I'm not talking to you about it." So that's why I prefer to go directly to the family and the PR.
Okay, I just wanted to know, make sure the personal rep wasn't exactly family, since they just had a death, whether it was a month ago or 2 months ago or what have
Mhm.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go to the family and then do go to the attorney, but don't mention the estate. That would be my advice. If
Okay.
anyone here handles it differently and you've had more success going to the attorney and bringing up the specific estate, I want to hear from you. Just because something's not my particular way doesn't mean that it doesn't work. But I have tried that and I didn't have much success. Okay. All right. Anything else? No. Let's go to Hull or Joel.
Yeah, how you doing, Bruce?
Good, good. How's it going?
It's going well, man. So just quick question back to how you were going over like those menu options that you would be able to that you offer to your clients at the listing appointment. Do you guys go over those more in detail in that Probate Mastery course?
The new Probate Mastery course that we start in January, we're going to go over it in a lot more detail. And the answer is still yes. Even on the on-demand version that I have right now, I I also go over it in detail, but
Okay.
not as much detail as we're going to give in the updated Probate Mastery course.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm
Cool.
going to
Thank you.
devote an entire section of creating a menu for listing agents. And those of you that are investors, um, you're welcome to take that as well, or skip it. Either way, we'll have plenty of investor only portions and lessons for you as well.
Okay.
Bruce, I have
Okay. Cool.
another
Cool.
quick
Cool. And
question
then,
for you.
and
Um, sure, yeah. Let me make sure that Hull doesn't have another question real quick, and then I'll come right back to you.
I was just going to give you a comment back on what you had just mentioned, touched on with Tasha. I just started this, and one of reached out to attorneys. Few of them don't respond. I did get one that responded because I went like that way where I wanted to offer referrals in regards to colleagues, clients that I have that would be able to take advantage of being able to set up a trust.
Mhm.
And we set an appointment for here in the beginning of January just to be able to do like a Zoom call as well. So she was very open to it, very receptive. Some aren't, but she was. So
Yep. I love it. Now, here's the only thing. Do your Zoom. Don't change it now. Here's the one thing that I would suggest on future calls to attorneys is, hey, listen, I'm trying to figure out who I want to work with. Is there a chance, is there a day during the week that I might be able to stop by your office for 5 or 10, 15 minutes and see your practice?
okay,
So I'd like it to be framed more like you're there to see their practice, to sort of vet them. Now,
okay,
I don't quite, I try to walk a fine line. I want to vet them and I want them to know that I'm there looking at their practice. But attorneys generally think that they're better than us. I would argue that they probably are. Okay. If you're a certified probate expert, you've been through a on-demand class, you come to these coaching calls, you're an agent, you passed a state test and a national test. They went to 3 years of law school and they passed the bar. Most of us didn't. Okay.
yeah,
So I never want to be like, hey, you deserve my business. I don't want to present myself that arrogantly, but at the same time, I still want it to be more like they're trying to earn my referrals. So I
yeah,
want to go to the office. Another reason I want to go to the office is I want their gatekeeper to see my face and get to know me because I'm going back to that office from time to time, quite frequently, to continue marketing them. And I don't want a gatekeeper trying to turn me away. And if they know me, they're not going to turn me away.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
All right. Cool. Okay, Tasha.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, this may not quite have anything to do with probate, but if you, I mean, this is not a great subject, but if you know a list of, divorces that are happening because it's public knowledge,
Hmm.
researching backwards to see if they own property. I guess you could go to the county's website.
Um, yeah. I haven't figured out at the county level where to walk in or where to go online and ask for divorce records. It's absolutely public. I haven't gone and pulled that myself like I have probate. Um, It is public, I would imagine, the Register of Deeds. I also know that there's several lead providers and lead aggregators, all the leads being one of them, that are now providing divorce data. Um, I'm assuming that they're going into the courthouse and they're looking up those public records. They might be doing some kind of divorce decree somewhere else, but I think that there's opportunity there. Is anyone or any of our other listeners doing probate? And have you guys figured out kind of the best way of approaching your I said probate divorce? Have you figured out kind of the best way of approaching divorce leads? I have my idea. My idea is that treat it more like a circle prospecting call, where you don't necessarily tell them that you know they're getting divorced. Another key thing when you get divorce data, I know what it looks like. When you get
Mhm.
divorce data, I think it's important that you call the petitioner and not the respondent. So, wife goes and files for divorce against husband. You see that and call the husband. Maybe he hasn't even been served yet. I don't want to be the person that like is responsible for pointing out that his life's about to be wrecked or her life's about to be wrecked or their life's about to be wrecked. So I would, if I was doing a call, I'd always call the petitioner, um, especially if I was going to mention divorce. Now, if I'm not mentioning divorce, I'll probably treat it like a circle prospecting call. Hey, I'm not sure what the situation here is. I have clients that are looking in the neighborhood. I noticed you on 123 Main Street, so a little bit more generic. Um,
Mhm.
but if there's anyone here that does pursue divorce leads, I'd love to hear it. It's not something that I've aggressively pursued at this point. All right, Rodger, let me bring you up. Rodger usually pops his hand up when he's done something like this. So go for it.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes. I get divorce leads from attorneys. Rodger, I've seen you work in the probate sector and you've made these families happy. I've got a divorce situation here as a house. They're both going to get it. You need to go take care of this for them. And I have permission to talk to them. They both know they may be not even co-located. They're probably not co-located, meaning they're probably not living in the same house. And I had one living in North Dakota, and the other one living here in Arkansas, and the other one lived in Fayetteville, and the other one in Bentonville. And so it's probably a combined call. The attorney says they need to sell a house and they can't get along.
Hmm.
Perfect. I become the perfect arbiter between the two and try to find a way I can double speak. I can talk to one and then I have to turn around and talk to the other. I usually don't try to get both of them on the same Zoom call or the same phone call at the same time. I have to talk to one, then I talk to the other, make sure the story's the same between the two so that
Hmm.
when they communicate or they communicate with their attorneys, we do that. It is an attorney rich, in my approach, it's an attorney rich conversation that is and a lot of trust that the attorney has. If one refers me to the situation, he's already talked to his attorney about how they're going to resolve this stuff over here. And then comes the question of how we're going to do this, and we need to get it sold quick. Do we need to get it sold quick? And I said, let me do my thing, and that gets into the menu options of doing things. It's more of a procedure, and I give them choices, which is a combination call from once I get both of them communicating to me. That's the most important thing right there. Communicating with both parties in the divorce, and I'm communicating with the attorneys. At that time, I'm giving updates to both attorneys. I'm on the phone making sure everybody's on the same uh, narrative of where I'm at and what I'm doing. And clearly, one of the things that I do as a realtor is I'm going to call a roofer
Hmm.
to check out the roof, and everybody says, "Why are you doing that?" And I said, if the roof needs to be replaced, we need to know ahead of time. Oh, okay. And all of a sudden that I bring value to the situation by starting saying there are some other things that I need to do. I need to walk through the house. I need to take a look at it to see what condition is and what we might be able to get more. You do want to get more for the house than you don't. And at that point, that is a real division, or the process starts taking a trail of we want value. And typically, one of the divorcees are going to say, "No, I want to get it sold as quick as
To be
possible.
done.
Let's get this thing done. Let's get it over with. And I said, okay, do you agree? Because I have investors that I can bring in
Mhm.
to do this. And you realize that you're looking at something less than market value on this. And all of a sudden, the one that is objecting says less than market value. And I said, well, it's going to take a little bit of time. Give me some time, and I'll
Yeah.
walk through to make sure that we can get the most that we can get for it. All of a sudden, the attorneys think I'm a hero. I'm going to get probate leads. I'm going to get more divorce leads from them, and it's just going to be basically a snowball. Both of them will sit there and go, "We really thank you. I've bought a house for a divorcee. The other one that was out of state used somebody else, whether she was. But you get multiple sales as a realtor
Mhm.
doing that
Yep.
and making sure that they realize that you're maximizing the value.
It's really big on the multiple sales, and that's a reason that I'm very optimistic about divorce. The approach, I think Rodger's approach is um, the most relevant approach is network and get to know the attorneys. So that's the most relevant. And anytime I'm approaching an attorney, I'm not approaching, hey, will you send me your referrals? I'm approaching trying to figure out what value I can provide them. That's gonna form the backbone of the approach that I bring. Um, so everyone check my screen out. Those of you that are listening after the fact, you're not going to see my screen. So all I'm doing is I just did a quick Google. Are divorce decrees public record? Now, this automatically turned to North Carolina just because that's my location. I want everyone to go to your Google and say, hey, are divorce decrees public record in whatever state you're in? And it should tell you how to access the decrees. The decree is really, really important because the decree tells you what the judge says needs to happen. And I've been written into decrees. My name has been on a divorce decree twice, where the divorce decree has said not Bruce is being divorced, but Bruce is going to sell the house, and both parties agree. So if divorce decrees are public record, I think it's quite valuable for you guys to be able to look up and see what the decree says. Because the decree will say, and I've seen a number of these, the decree says spouse gets the house, house is to be sold. It'll say exactly what's going to happen with real estate. And if it's public in your area, I think you guys need to know and need to see what it has to say. All right. Um, cool. Awesome.
One other thing.
Yes.
Um, You can contact one or the other in the before the decree is passed, before the judge is adjudicated.
Mhm.
Um, I can go to one or the other one and ask them, "May I talk to your attorney about this?" And that is a great way for me to get into the
Yeah.
attorney's office.
Big
So
time.
and once you're in the attorney's office, then you start getting who's the other attorney and start a dialogue that way.
I want everyone to know, and Julie just said 2025 goal equal meet attorneys. Uh, for a lot of investors and a lot of agents, an attorney approach can be rather intimidating. For me, for years, approaching and networking with and forming relationships with attorneys was quite intimidating. It's nowhere near as hard to build a good relationship with an attorney or attorneys as you might think if it's intimidating to you. And I would argue that there's a bunch of people on this call that are really good about it. It's not that hard. What you have to recognize is just human nature. People don't want to be sold to. So if you walk in going, hey, I'm looking for referrals, I need to grow my business, who can you send me? You're going to turn them off. If you go in looking for how they can be involved in bringing value to your clients or how you can be involved in bringing value to them, you're going to have a dialogue. And if they're not willing to talk to you there, they're just one of the jerks. And I have a rule: don't do business with jerks. And that's not my rule. I just made it PG-13 for you, PG for you guys. Okay. I don't do business with jerks. And that goes for some attorneys, but they're nowhere nearly as intimidating as some people tend to think that they are.
May I give you a winning dialogue with an attorney?
Go for it.
The attorney will say, "Yeah, Rodger, we need to get this thing settled as quickly as possible and view that. So how quickly can you sell the house?" Whoa, do you really want to get the lowest dollar for it? What are you talking about, Rodger? I'm talking about, let me walk through the house. Let me see if there's an opportunity to sell it at a full value on a to someone who's going to get a mortgage to buy the property, instead of marketing it to investors that you're going to get anywhere between 50 and 80% of the price. That's a good idea, Rodger.
Yep.
All of a
Yep.
sudden he knows that I'm for real. And
Mhm.
I can move forward, and it's a big win. You win the trust of the attorney, you win the trust of the probate family, and you win the trust of the divorcees.
Mhm. I like it. Tara just said, just kind of asked or said, I just assume that all attorneys already have several favorite realtors. Um, some do. Okay, some absolutely do. Let me tell you guys a story. Several years ago, I did an open house. I was new in the Raleigh, North Carolina area. I picked an open house that I knew was going to get traffic. It was a good price point, and in walk a couple of bankruptcy attorneys. By the way, bankruptcy attorneys are great for realtors, especially when you can get in good with them. And we talked, we looked at the marketing presentation that I was doing on the home. They said that they liked that and they'd been thinking about selling their house. So I went out and looked at it. It was on the market um, with another agent. They invited me in. I didn't go around the sign. So it's on the market. And while I was there, they told me that they had two agents that they referred, that they preferred to use. They were their best two agents, but both of those agents seemed to take them for granted. So I asked if I could get a shot, and they said, probably not yet. Okay. I stopped by the office a few times. We ended up listing their house. They fired one of the two agents that they'd worked with. I listed their house, got it sold, and won the referral business from those attorneys for quite a while. Quite a while. That lasted for about a year and a half. I got a lot of referrals from them. One day it seemed to slow down. And I went in the office and they said, Bruce, we just feel like you're taking our referral business for granted. And little by little, I lost their business. Now, I wasn't taking it for granted, but I won the business away from two agents that were getting their referral business. I won it. I lost it as well. And I lost it through what one could argue wasn't necessarily my fault. The point of that story is I don't care what relationships people have. Your ranking on that relationship ladder rises and falls. Sometimes it's for good reason, sometimes it's for bad reason, but it rises and falls. Financial advisor that I know, and I know hundreds, asked me one day why I wasn't sending him my personal business. And I said, quite honestly, I know dozens and dozens and dozens of financial advisors, and you rank really high. You're in the top five, but you're just not the first person that I think about bringing my business to right now. And he said, well, how do I win your business? And I was like, okay, more longevity, provide more value. Let's keep doing it, what you're doing. You just need to rise, climb the ranks, climb the ladder to be the top person, the most credible person that I think about when it comes to managing money. He actually didn't like that answer very much and never talked to me again. Okay. But the fact remains that's how we are with every relationship we have. Your next door neighbor knows five investors or agents. The attorney knows 10. The person in your church knows seven or eight. Okay. we're always somewhere on a ranking ladder with who they think about first and who is the most credible. And all you need to do is put a plan together to become the most credible, best rapport person that they have. You'll unseat whoever's ahead of you eventually. So if somebody already has a bunch of agents, doesn't matter to me. I'll win the business. And if I don't, I don't. That's why I don't go after one attorney. I go after 10. If I can't win it from 8 of them, I'll win the business from 2. All right. Any other questions? Other questions? Otherwise, I'm going to pop through some of the questions that have been chatted in. Some of these we kind of already answered. I am going to go to um, I'm going to go to Patty. Um, Tell me more about how you can guarantee a sale. Okay, we're all the way back to the guaranteed sale. And I believe I answered this, but just in case I don't, this is what I do when I guarantee a sale. Let's just pretend for the sake of easy math. No, I can't buy a house for $100,000 in my market, but for easy math, you got a house that's worth 100,000, and I feel very confident that a house is worth 100,000. Now, when the market was blazing hot 2, 3, 4 years ago, I did not offer a guaranteed sale. I'd get laughed out of the room if I offered a guaranteed sale because it nobody was selling houses in longer than 14 hours. Okay. Now the market's slower. I am absolutely back to offering guaranteed sales. So, house is worth 100,000 and I know that it's worth 100,000. What I'll do is I'll go to the seller and I'll say, I'll guarantee you 95,000. Okay. If I don't get you 95,000 with an offer of 95,000 within the next X number of days, 14, 29, 60, whatever your guarantee is. If I don't get you an offer of that much money within this amount of time, the loss is going to come out of my commission. That's the way I do it. Some people say if I don't get you 90,000 within 60 days, I'll buy the house for $90,000. Okay. Some people do that. I usually say, or I'll take it out of my commission. Everybody's a little bit different, but that's how I do it. Now, when I do that, if they want the guarantee, they are going to agree to certain terms. They can't decline showings. They can't leave the house with an unmade bed. If somebody comes in and offers them my guarantee price and they don't take it, I've fulfilled my obligation. They don't have to take an offer of the guarantee price, but if I get them that offer and they turn it down, I my obligation was met. So I'm not gonna lose pieces of the commission just because they turned it down. They need to put a home warranty. They need to pre-inspect. So I basically set some terms that they have to agree to abide by for me to be willing to guarantee the sale. And I never guarantee 100%. It really depends on the market. So market like I'm in right now be somewhere in around 95%. If I was in a hot market, I might guarantee 99%. If I'm in a terrible market, I might guarantee 90%. So I base that guarantee ratio on what I think the house is worth. Me, not they. And normally we agree, but what I think the house is worth, and I also base it on what the market's doing. Um,
And then you buy it for that? Like if you don't have it, you'd literally buy the
Me?
house yourself.
No, I don't. I don't buy. I mean, I do buy. Our old model in another market with the business partners, we would buy the house. Now, we were not doing a 95% guarantee. Let me tell you guys what we were doing. We were guaranteeing 65%. People didn't generally take it. I didn't really like that model. It felt too bait and switchy for me. But there are a lot of people that do a guaranteed sale where they guarantee a sale at a certain price. Otherwise, they'll buy it at, let's say, 65%. It's kind of a gimmicky advertising tool to set an appointment. It's not the style that I like to go with, so that's why I guarantee a higher ratio of what I think value is. And rather than buy the house myself, I'll just start taking money out of the commission that I was going to make. Okay. Other questions on that? Let's go to Chris. Rodger, your hand's up. I don't know if it was up again or if that was from before. I'm gonna go to Chris for now, though.
I will raise my hand again when I remember my question.
All right, sounds good. Okay. Rodger, you good? Okay. All right. Patty also asked, slightly off the topic of guaranteed sales. Let me talk to those of you guys that are investors. Um, the big thing is come up with something that your competitor investors are not willing to offer. Same thing with us agents. It doesn't need to be guaranteed sale. There's lots of unique selling propositions that we can offer. The point is offer something that other people either haven't thought about offering or are unwilling to offer, and it needs to be results based, not how hard you work based. Okay, because we all make claims about how hard we work. I market like nobody else. That's not a unique selling proposition. We all say that. You get me. That's not a unique selling proposition. We all say that. I'll work later and harder than anyone else. We all say that. So come up with something, some kind of unique result that you can provide, and that's a unique selling proposition. Let's go back to Chris.
Thank you. So I'm building relationships with attorneys. I've been doing it for over a year with some success and obviously some failure. For your continued, touch points with them, I'd like to hear some of your pop-by ideas or gifts, or if it's just casual phone calls. I've usually done 4 times a year where I go in and visit. I have something for the front desk person, or bring some cookies and a little information, or something just to like make a point of going there. But
Yep.
I think I'm going to change it this year. Instead of going to like 20 to 25 attorneys that I have some relationship with, focus on my top 5 that have referred some business in the past and go with a bigger, impactful thing. But before I go into that, I guess, is that even something that you've done in the past?
Yeah. Yep, definitely. An idea, and I didn't do this with a lender, or I didn't do this with an attorney. I did this with a builder. Um, I knew what that builder liked as far as music goes. I was a country music fan, and I bought country concert tickets. And I
Okay.
sent one, and I said, "There's 3 more for any friends or family you want to bring if you have coffee with me."
Okay, nice.
Okay. And I already knew just because I stalk, I already knew that the builder liked country music.
Mhm.
So, and then I had 6 tickets though. I reserved the other 2, and I'm not really a country fan. I'm okay, I am, but not really. But I reserved the other 2 so that I'd be there standing beside them at the concert. So I got a coffee out of it and side by side with a builder that I wanted a relationship with. So there's an idea. Another idea is a monthly or a bi-monthly stop by with some perishable foods, donuts, baked goods, big coffee jug, something like that. I always, if I do that, I'm going to take a small stack of brochures. I know they're not wanting to get a bunch of brochures from an agent. Okay, but I take a small stack of brochures just in case they need them, and kind of is that touch point. If they go in the trash, they go in the trash, but a lot of times they won't. Um, Another thing is I'll ask if they have office meetings, and if they have office meetings, do they allow someone to sponsor lunch and share for 5 minutes? So
Yep, that's a good
I'll
one.
do like a sponsorship and provide lunch for the office, especially like the mid-size and up offices.
Okay, perfect. I was thinking about combining like the service that I provide for their clients, which is the concierge service essentially, where they have, the home cleaning, the estate company. And then like I have one with a new attorney. She just moved and I offered to have her new house cleaned for her because she had mentioned it was dirty. So I sent my cleaning crew there and just did it as a complimentary thing. Now she knows they show up on time, et cetera. And I did it once more with someone that mentioned they had a tenant that trashed the place, and I had my clean out crew come through and take everything. And both of those are fairly expensive, but like also demonstrate what I do, and it gives them an easier touch point with their clients.
Amazing. I like it. Okay, cool.
Oh,
I
I
like
wasn't
it.
sure if that was a waste of money. I'm still not sure my
I don't
cost
know.
per acquisition that I'm trying to hit.
Time will tell.
Yeah,
No
fair enough.
idea. Some people are more than happy to take advantage of anything that you provide and never pay it back. And then other times, what you just spent is going to come back to you a thousandfold. Um, don't know. I generally lean with giving, and I know that if I can give, even if it's kind of pricey, that it there's I can only give to so many people without it coming back in a big way from someone. So is it going to come back in a big way from either one of the two that you did? Maybe not, but I bet if you were to do something like that, a big move like that with 10 people, one of them is going to send you a load of business, if not more. Yeah, I like it. Okay. David, what's up? I lowered your hand. Where did you
Hey,
go?
Bruce.
David, there,
Hey,
there you are.
Bruce.
Yeah,
Aloha. Hey, Bruce.
aloha.
So forgive me if you already answered this, but back to your guaranteed sale. So when you're saying that you're going to reduce your commission, should it not sell within a certain length or period of time, how much of a reduction do you give?
So let's hypothetically say that I'm guaranteeing 95% of what I think value is. If if we get 94%, I lower by a percent. If we get 93, I lower by two. If we get 92, I lower by one. And that's the limit. So on a guaranteed sale, I'm generally listing it at least 4% on my end, but I have costs. So normally my max that I'll reduce by is about 3%.
So that's 3% off of your commission, or a three per like off of your commission amount, or literally you're starting at 3% and then you go to two and then you go to one.
So I'm starting, if I do a guarantee, I'm starting at least four
Got it.
on our side.
And then
If
you'll drop it as much as
I'll drop it to as little as 1% to me because I have to cover costs.
got it.
Yeah. Now, that doesn't happen very often. When it does, it's painful, but you've got to look at the all the ones that you met your guarantee on. So if you're good at pricing and marketing a house and negotiating a house, if you're good at that, then you're going to sell nine above your terms, at or above your guarantee terms for every one that you have to eat the commission on. And those nine that you sell at or above your guarantee terms, you're making an extra one or one and a half or 2%. So if you have to eat 2 or 3% here and there, it's fine with me. Now, if I don't know how to price or market a house and I'm eating commissions left and right, I got a problem. That's a me problem. I got to figure out how to price houses more accurately. But I know how to price houses, so I'll eat it one out of every 8 or 9 times.
Got it. So let's say you have your price and so you're saying my price is X. And then if I get 94% of that price, you drop it 1%, 93%, 2%, 92%, 3%, and then it stops there.
Yeah.
And then have you ever thought about, or have you ever tried it to where it's instead of it's 95%, it's like, then it's 90%, you drop it 1%, 85%, you drop it 2%. Or do you think that would work or
Uh,
no? Or
if
is
you
that
really
just
suck at pricing a house, sure. Yeah, go for it. I mean, I think that you
I
you
don't
probably
know.
need to be more accurate with your pricing. And I realize
Sure.
in theory, some of us could be in a falling market where we're worried that the market's gonna fall out from under us and we're gonna lose 5 or 10% of value. I don't
Yeah,
think so, but I'm sure some markets you could be in a little bit more volatile market. That's not mine. I think we're losing value in my market, but it's not falling by 5 and 10% at a time. It's a percent or two
got it.
here and there.
Slow
Yeah.
drip.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So back to a question Patty had. I'm trying to get through the chatted questions, and the majority of these, again, kind of have been answered. This one was done by one of the other viewers, one of the other attendees here today. But Patty said, would you recommend waiting for the new mastery to come out or taking the old mastery? The old mastery is great. Take it. The new mastery is going to take months and months to produce because we're going to do it in bite-sized pieces. So I would take the old version, and then I would refresh everything with the new version. Some of the new version is going to follow the old version verbatim. Some of the new version is going to add on top of what you're going to see in my personal old version. So I want everyone to know, if you have not taken Mastery, there are currently two versions of Mastery. Part of the reason we're doing this redo is to kind of combine Mastery where there's not so much confusion for new people. So we've got Chad Corbett. He taught Mastery originally. Um, I taught Mastery over the summer. I just wanted to get my version out there. Mine's called Probate Mastery Live Sessions and Quizzes. And so I'm doing all this new stuff to try to make it where there's not quite as many choices. Eventually there's going to be one Probate Mastery choice, and it's just going to be my new version. If you guys want to take either one of the old versions, I think it's certainly going to help. So if you want to go, Patty or anyone else, take Probate Mastery Live, get the version that I did over the summer, go for it. We're only going to add on top of that with the new stuff. All right. Chatted questions. Yeah, Julia, Cyber Stalker. I'm not above stalking someone that I want a networking connection with. Some of them are wanting reciprocating referrals. So this is to Tara, talking, I'm assuming, about attorneys, that some of them are wanting reciprocating referrals. Yeah, a lot of times they do. Sometimes they don't. I've asked attorneys this before. I've had a lot of attorneys say, "Hey, I don't need anything back. I just want you to take care of my client." Some attorneys want the referrals. Some attorneys want you to pay them a commission. That's between you and them. Okay. Um, for me, I never lead by asking for referrals. I lead by telling them that I work with clients that need estate-based work, administration and setup work. And I wonder if they are still taking clients in that space. Now, I already know the answer. Of course, they're taking clients that need estate work. And then I say, could I stop by your office and see your practice for 10, 15 minutes sometime in the next week or two? I'm trying to find an attorney I can work with. And that's my way in. Now, I'm certainly going to try to refer them some business over time. I'm just not necessarily trying to find one attorney that I send all my business to, because that limits my ability to network with other attorneys in the future. Okay. If anyone else has any other questions, please raise your hand. I'm going through chat, and it's kind of hard for me to figure out who I have answered, who I haven't. Brittany, okay, took a probate certification course and passed the test to get certified. You're looking for scripts, marketing, and more information. Should you take Probate Mastery? So, the most probate certification courses that are out there. By the way, none of us have anything recognized by NAR that I know of. NAR typically wants to own a big chunk of your business. And I wasn't willing to give that big chunk of the business up to get NAR recognized. So there's a handful of probate classes and a couple of certification programs out there. The majority of them focus on how the probate court system works. That's what most other probate training focuses on. And I believe in that. We have a 3-hour session devoted to that in Probate Mastery. I think you guys need to understand that. I don't think you need, as agents and investors, you need to have a law degree like some of them try to teach you to basically be almost as knowledgeable as a lawyer. It's kind of like the real estate test. You take the real estate class and your head's packed full of real estate terms that you're never going to see again. So I minor on the probate process part of it, and we major on how to communicate with your lead, how to market to your leads, how to build relationships with attorneys, how to work your appointment, how to present yourself. So I'm a for the sake of sounding too salesy, because I've been pretty salesy on this call today. I try to normally steer away from that. I think our course is absolutely going to teach you what you need, especially if what you need is marketing and prospecting based. We major on that and kind of minor on the process part of it. Okay, other questions? I don't think I see any other hands. If there aren't any, we're past the top of the hour, so I'll let you guys go for the day. As always, thank you guys for being here. We are taking the next 2 weeks off from our Tuesday coaching call. We'll start on July 7th. We'll be back here on Tuesday, January 7th for our next coaching session. And then early in January, we'll be rolling out all the live sessions with the new. And just really fast, for those of you that are excited about joining those, please be aware, I don't have the exact schedule. Some weeks are going to be 2 or 3 sessions, especially if they're shorter. Some weeks are going to be 1 session if it's longer. I'll be putting a schedule together. Don't be surprised if you show up to a session in the new mastery and it's only 15 minutes. I really want to compartmentalize all the lessons so that they can be easily found and searched and reconsumed later. But thank you guys so much. Happy holidays. Enjoy your time off. Enjoy time with family, and we'll see you next year.